TPCSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
Excuse me, Mr. DJ.
Hey, check this out. We got a great show coming your way.
From the ECSI Sports Studios, it's the Midday Market Report with Jeff Dawson.
Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your Midday Market Report for Tuesday, May 28, 2024. Hope everyone had a great, long Memorial Day weekend. I'm all smiling ear to ear. I had a great conversation with Andrew backstage. He showed me some great new stuff that maybe we'll add to the arsenal sooner than later. And a big, huge shout out to Noah Frank, the man behind the glass, who is a star in the making. I shouldn't even say making, because he's got big things coming, and hopefully sooner than later, ECSI will be able to lock him up before ESPN or someone else like that locks him up. So shout out to Noah. Shout out to our proud sponsor and partnership, of course, WagerWire. If you haven't downloaded the app, please head on over to Google Play. Zach, Travis, Amber, Carol, Bucks, the list is endless. Go join this community immediately. We're leaving the station. The station, I'm going to say, you're going to end up in the caboose by January 1st, 2025 if you don't jump in now. So head on over there. We'll take care of the rest. Big news coming, exciting stuff for the rest of 2024 and beyond. So without further ado, let's bring in the real star of this show, the one and only Mr. Andrew McInnis. What's up, Coach?
What's up? Great to be here with you. Another day of an awesome NHL playoff game. Hope you had a great long weekend there, Jeff, with the family. I'm fired up for tonight's game.
You know, we talked backstage, 1-1, both series, heading back to Florida, heading back to Edmonton, both teams favored. Like the NBA, it doesn't matter, I think, when you get to this part of the year, especially home ice, home court, it really doesn't matter. It's which team prevails, and both road teams come up with big wins. Stars last night down 2-0, take a 3-2 lead. Edmonton ties it late in the second, and then Stars say, hold my beer, we're the better team, go on to win there. And then 2 days ago, after an overtime win, which the Rangers in overtime just checked the box, they're going to find a way to win the game, head down to Florida, and they're not bothered. It doesn't matter where you play these guys. You talked about a team of destiny. 30 years ago, 1994, Mark Messier held the cup up as the Rangers won the Stanley Cup. It is now 30 years later, 2024. They take a 2-1 lead. Kind of a must-win for the Panthers tonight.
Some people love it. Some people hate it about hockey. It doesn't always mean the team with the most shots, the most chances, the most opportunities is going to be the team that wins the game. And you talk about team of destiny. The New York Rangers find a way to win. That's what hockey is. It's about teams finding a way to get a victory, whether it be in overtime, whether it be when you've had 10 fewer shots than your opponent. They just seem to get the job done. And I continue to say this to you, Jeff. The first line gets you to the postseason. The second and third liners help you win in the postseason. How about a player like Barclay Goodrow with 2 goals last game? Alexis Lafreniere, a player that I've been cheering for because I actually covered him many years ago here when I was covering junior hockey. He has 2 goals last game after he was a number 1 overall pick. They were writing him off, and all of a sudden he's taking off. The pressure that has been taken off Chris Kreider, Mika Zibanejad, some of these top players, because the secondary guys have showed up. It's almost like they can take a big, deep breath and just breathe. They're up 2-1 in the series, and they haven't even played their best game yet. You mentioned it's a huge game for the Florida Panthers. It certainly is. I do think Bobrovsky bounces back. That was definitely the weakest game we've seen from him. Sure, some great goals in on him, some highlight reel goals scored against him. That's for sure. They weren't weak goals by any means. But Jeff, you know what? After we saw a very, very slow and low-scoring start to this series, it seems like the goals are starting to come in here. The goals are flying. One thing I've had success in both NBA and NHL, and you know, we talk about the old expression, KISS, keep it simple, stupid. When a team's in a bounce-back mode, what do we want to look at? Well, the first period is kind of a good way. But you take a look at the Edmonton game yesterday, the previous Florida game, a lot of these games that are even going over or under, they're going over in the first period. I kind of like the over 1.5. I think that the Panthers have to take it to them right away, come out strong. But I'll tell you what, this New York team, they're being offered minus 130 to the over for their first period team total. To me, that's a little bit intriguing here, Jeff, because the road teams have done so well. I'll throw it back to you with this. I had a guy DM me today with a very interesting Twitter handle here, Louis Vuitton Don. That's his name here on X. He said, this postseason, the Stars are 5-0 in games 3 and 4 as road warriors. The Rangers are 5-1 on the road. And as you mentioned, Jeff, 4-0 in overtime games. He said to me, these numbers alone say the Rangers at plus money is too hard to ignore. One of the reasons why I like the over 1.5 in the first period, I think that the Rangers will realize we won, but probably didn't deserve it. They're going to come out hard, and the Panthers will come out aggressive as well. I think we see goals early on here, Jeff.
You know, it's kind of one of those devil's advocate, as I talked about. My eye test, the best guy on the ice other than the goalies is Barkov. I told you I would start a team tomorrow with him. He is just a phenomenal player. And you said he hasn't had a point in how many games? 2 games? And Kachuk has been silent for most of these playoffs. The sense of desperation, you know, we talk about series matchups before they start. You know, can these teams come in and win 2-1, 3-2, or are they better prepared to go first 1 to 5 wins? And we saw the floodgates open up on Sunday here. It's kind of now Florida's got to pick their poison, because we know Bob can pitch a shutout just like Shesterkin. We know that they can win 2-1, 3-2 like everyone else. I think deep down, Florida probably thought if they were playing a race to 5, that they're better equipped to win the game than the Rangers.
That's a really fair assessment. It really is. I mean, you look at Reinhart, the guy was almost scoring a goal a game at some points this regular season. He's been quiet. Verhaeghe's been a little bit quiet here. Rodriguez, took that elbow, which we don't even need to discuss, from Jacob Trouba. We've been seeing that all year long from Jacob Trouba. The injury is certainly a factor. But like you said, the star players have to step up. 4 of the last 5 games, no point from Barkov. Did have 2 the last game. And also the power plays. How about the power plays? I think the number is something like 2 for 6 for the Panthers last game, 0 for 2 for the Rangers. So in a game that finished 5-4, the power plays still weren't really there for either team. It's a pretty dangerous sign that we saw 9 goals, Jeff, and not that many power play opportunities. But looking at this game here, like I mentioned, I do think that we have to continue to look at a guy like Vincent Trocheck as far as his over on 2.5 shots on goal. Trocheck has been the biggest consistent guy as far as his numbers there and as far as his props. But unders, I mean, looking at some of these games here, we take a look at the amount of shots the Rangers are getting, as I keep talking about, the fact that this team overall, they're winning games, but are they winning them with scoring that many shots or getting that many shots on net? They aren't. They're getting very few shots. So when I look at some of the props, I'm breaking down some of these numbers, whether it's at DraftKings, whether it's on FanDuel. I'm very interested in playing some of these unders for Rangers players tonight, because we already have seen good efforts defensively. I understand it from the Florida Panthers, but Panarin under 3.5 shots on goal, 4 of his last 5. Zibanejad, he's gone under, and I believe 7 of his last 10 games under 2.5 shots on goal. Jack Roslovic under 1.5 shots on goal in 5 straight games. So where am I going with this, Jeff? I'm not saying we can take all of these guys and we're going to go 5 for 5, but the Florida Panthers have done a great job of calming things down and not allowing that many shots. And that's why I think people still believe the Panthers are the better team. But there's something to be said about shot percentage, right? The Vancouver Canucks during the regular season, I told you this, they had the best shooting percentage in the league, which means based on all the shots they were taking, more shots than anybody else were turning into goals. And I think that's a real big difference maker. But I do like over 1.5 in this one. I do like the Panthers to win the game. But if we're just strictly numbers people, do you find that if someone, let's say you don't have access to team totals, you don't have access to first period, you don't have access to the old-fashioned betting, right? Just money line. Would you really want to play the Panthers on this price on the money line? That's what kind of worries me.
I've talked at length trusting and respecting the overnight number and the opening number. And a lot of times when I see a number like this, you and I will talk about it, and I will say this clearly. There's only one way this number can go, is exactly what you're saying. I'm not going to lay the 166. Therefore, you kind of square peg, round hole, stuck in grabbing the plus money. Vegas is so cute and coy when they do this. They're like, okay, how do we get Ranger money tonight? Well, obviously, we open up Florida as a big favorite and watch the Ranger money pull in because people aren't going to lay the 166. Listen, anyone that runs to the window to take the Rangers tonight, God bless you. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I cannot blame them. As you said, what their stats are on the road. Obviously, if it gets to overtime, just shut the game off, because you can go and get a workout in, because somehow, whether it's triple overtime or in the first 3 minutes, they're going to find a way to win. But something is leaning me to the Panther side tonight. I'd like your initial comment. Goals are starting to flock in. I think the Panthers are pissed off. I think you're going to see Barkov, Kachuk. I think you're going to see these guys say, come on, guys, you beat us in a race to 5 last time. Bullshit. You ain't doing it tonight.
I think the power play points are a really good bet for tonight. And I think that you look at guys like Kachuk at plus 165. You got Verhaeghe plus 200. And, of course, Barkov, the guy you've mentioned that's just such a strong player, is plus 190. And, Jeff, we always talk about, well, when you bet a prop like this, they have to get power plays. They have to get those opportunities. And if you only get 2, well, you have to go 50%. If you get 3, so on and so forth. But the power play is going to be crucial for them. I don't like the prop bet alone on the half a point. It's just too chalky for Barkov to get a regular point. The best bet to look at, I think, for tonight's game, if you're looking for some nice plus money, would be Barkov plus 190 to record a power play point. Could be a primary assist, could be a secondary assist, could be a goal. And that's always the best thing, when they turn it into a goal at plus 190. I really like that one. But keep an eye out for some of those unders. For everybody out there watching it, I mean, you're betting shots on goal during the regular season. Let's be honest. When people are making their same game parlays, they're trying to hit it big and make those big parlay to get the same gamers that you see advertised to you all over. And let's be honest, we all know the books are advertising it not because they want you to hit one of those, because they want you to make one of those every single night. People like to bet overs, right? So, guys, the Rangers could have 25 shots on goal tonight, but all of their guys could go under 2.5 shots. And that's a really important thing to mention.
Yeah, and I noticed again watching this series, especially is don't forget the Bruins just played the Panthers, and it was the locals here like saying, "Geez, after two periods, 5, 6, 7 shots on net. I mean, what the hell's going on?" Well, that's the Panther style, and for a while the Rangers were facing the same problems. But again, finding a way to win game 2 and obviously stealing game 3. This is what has made this team, quote unquote, the team of destiny. So again, I can't wait. I got my popcorn. I'm ready to move on and see exactly, are they truly the team of destiny, going up 3-1, or do we have 2-2 going back to the Mecca and a best of 3 series here? Can't wait for that. Gonna bounce back to last night, Dallas and Edmonton. Again, we've talked a little about this already. Two great teams. The Stars, our pick in January grabbed them to win the West, to win the Cup. I just think top to bottom, roster to roster to roster to roster, the best team still standing. And Ottinger has really came on in these playoffs. Now, he didn't look too stellar in the first period, gives up 2 goals, down 2-0. Stars say, hold my beer. And the best period that they had, hands down, probably not just the playoffs, but of the season, at one point out shooting Edmonton 14-0 in the second period, scoring 3 goals in less than 4 minutes, took a 3-2 lead. Just from what I just recapped, what was your thoughts when the first faceoff started to the barrage in the second that you saw the Stars put on?
Just from listening to the anthems, Jeff, to seeing the fans, how excited they were, conference final playoff hockey back in Canada, so exciting. And the players matched the intensity in the first period. But that's about it. That's where they matched the intensity of the crowd, in the first period. The Dallas Stars, as you talked about, just came alive in the second period. They didn't look back from there. Not only tying things up, but getting 3 goals, taking the lead. You talk about how they're just overall a great team, the depth that they have. And I pulled up to my right here the daily face-off line combinations for the Dallas Stars. And I'll tell you, what I like about this team is how they were built. In the NHL, you don't see super teams as much as you see in the NBA per se. But what I love about this Dallas team is they were very naturally built. They've got the players like Matt Duchene, who's actually one of the older players in the league. You've got Joe Pavelski, you've got Jamie Benn, and Tyler Seguin. So you've got 3, 4, even 5 guys that I grew up as a kid watching almost. And then you've got your kids. You've got Robertson. You've got even Rupe Hintz. We can put him in there. Then you've got the even younger kids with Wyatt Johnston, with Logan Stankoven, who I actually watched in person with the World Juniors last year. And now he's here playing NHL playoff hockey. So you look around this whole roster, the way it's built, the way it's constructed, there aren't any holes. And, some teams, they worry about salary caps. They worry about, do you have a certain guy that's willing to be a 200-foot player? They've got guys that when they go out there, Jeff, they know their job is not to score goals. Their job, not to make fancy plays, to just tire out the other team, to defend their end, and wait until the goal scorers go out there. And that's the thing, is that how many teams can say right now that one of their best players in the playoffs has been a third-line player? Not many. And guess what? I would say, and I'm sure you'd agree with me, the best player besides Ottinger, the skater, has been Wyatt Johnston. And you texted me about him with the Conn Smythe odds a few weeks back, how great he's playing. He is the third-line player for the Dallas Stars. He's scoring a goal almost every game right now. The offense he creates, the confidence he's playing with, the way he skates up. He's got Stankoven to his right, Jamie Benn on his left. Like, what a line that is, Jeff, to have 2 young players just like that, 2 young guys, Stankoven and Johnston, playing with a guy like Jamie Benn, who could be their dad. He could be their father. That's how old he is compared to them. And that's the third line on that team. A great effort there. The one thing I will say, a little tidbit I would add, people aren't talking about this enough, and I'm going to be critical of it. Chris Knoblaw is a rookie head coach in the NHL. I don't think anybody is saying anything about him at all. People had a lot to say when the Edmonton Oilers fired their coach, Jay Woodcroft, and now I don't think anybody's been critical of Knoblaw at all. Well, what did he go and do yesterday? Well, they went down 3-2, immediately panics, just like everyone that's ever coached McDavid and Draisaitl. What does he do? He puts the two of them back together, Jeff. And if you do that, it means there's pretty much only one scoring line. If you don't have them together, you've got two scoring lines. Their chemistry is great together, but I think it's best to not overreact, to keep them on separate lines. That way, they both aren't on the bench at the same time. And the second thing I noticed, and I think we'll definitely be able to find some tape of this, is when he pulled Stuart Skinner and brought him to the bench. I tweeted out, I'm sure you saw my tweet, I said, now it's 1 minute and 52 seconds left of garbage time because they just scored the empty net goal pretty much right around the 2-minute mark. The fact they didn't trust this Oilers team to work for that goal for another 30, 40, 50 seconds, the game was over before the comeback even had a chance. I think he pulled the goalie too early. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I was going to go back to the second period barrage, and even the commentators, when the Stars scored that third goal and they dropped the puck for the faceoff and the puck was back in the Oilers' end, the commentator, I don't know which one it was, says, hey, coach, I know you're getting a timeout at the 10-minute mark, but you might want to think about using the timeout now before it's 4-2. So, and here's another thing, just to put in the back of your head, Edmonton Oilers, DeBoer is 7-0 in closeout games. So I don't think you want a game 7 in Dallas. So as much as I said the Panthers must win tonight, not wanting to go back 3-1, is that sense of urgency the same now for the Oilers, knowing they're down 2-1 now, and game 5 and 7, if needed, are back in Dallas? We had an opening number of I think Edmonton minus 130, not the 166 that you saw with the Panthers. Now, we talked about this. Let's just use some Jedi mind tricks that Vegas is telling us. Panthers minus 166 today. What is most people going to do? Well, I'm going to take the Rangers. I got Igor. I'm going to take the plus money. They didn't do the same for Edmonton tomorrow night. It's 1:30. They're like, come on down. You like McDavid? We got a separate window right here for you.
And I hear all the sharpest bettors, people say, it's not about when you it's not about laying chalk. It's when you do it. A lot of sharp UFC, boxing, even moneyline baseball bettors lay chalk. If you notice, actually, a lot of people that try and be creative in the MLB and bet the underdogs, they lose. An underdog ticket only sounds so great when it wins. You can tell me all day and twice on Sunday that you bet the Royals quite a bit last year, or if you've taken the White Sox, or if you've taken even if you've taken the Jays right now with how bad they've been.
Or Red Sox.
Yeah, true. So you know what I mean? And I agree with you. What you're saying is, that number, and that's the funny thing, is that the number is open for a reason. People will message me, and I'm sure you hear about it. They're saying, wow, Vegas doesn't even know what they're doing. They've got no clue what they're doing. I'm sure, trust me, they know what they're doing. They want you to be saying that to me. Vegas wants people to say, are you seriously going to give me that price? And I think that's where I went wrong a little bit this regular season, on some self-reflecting, looking out for, moving forward to next year. Even though I told myself I would do this more during the year, Jeff, I wanted to protect the bankroll so bad that I gave out team totals. I think in some instances I might not have needed to. The amount of team total overs that I bet this year where my team ended up winning the game, I would need about 10 pairs of hands to count. Avalanche team total over 3.5. They beat Arizona 3-2 as minus 220 favorites. And the amount of times it happened where teams would beat bad teams, but somehow only score 3 goals, not get us that magic number of 4. So this is the question. How do we bet the Panthers tonight if you don't want that big number? But I like what your mind's telling you there about the Oilers and the Panthers and the comparison here. I'll say this though, Jeff. I mean, I'm biased. I love watching the Canadian. I would dream to go to a Canadian playoff game right now. But the media here, you would think that last night made the game 3-1 or the series. You would think that last night, actually, Jeff, they just lost the series already based on some of the stuff that I was listening to on podcasts and local radio and all this. So the TV people are reacting, and you know what? Getting Rupe Hintz back was really good for Jason Robertson. I read something about that as well, saying that he almost needed his sidekick. Once Hintz came back, Robertson came back, and he had 2 goals as well. The added pressure to the Oilers, though, they're going to need 60 minutes and not just 20 minutes next game.
Well, I can't wait. As New Shoes once sang, and an awesome show. We could talk for hours here. Of course, we're going to catch ourselves up here as we progress throughout the rest of this week here. Noah just put up there the odds to win it all. Currently, the Stars at plus 165, the Rangers at plus 240. Again, the funny is the Rangers will have home ice if it is Rangers versus the Stars there. You can grab the Panthers plus 480. And again, you can grab the Oilers right now at plus 450 if you believe. But again, how I'm reading this right now, and again, it's just my take on the matter. And I'm going to say this right now to people watching and listening. We got a lot of people watching right now. How do you get into the minus 166 tonight, Andrew? I tell you how you can get into it. And I know it's not the instant gratification. I get that part of it. You go onto the window and you grab yourself some Florida Panthers plus 380 tonight. That's what you do. They're down 2-1. Vegas has given us the cue that they think that the Panthers will find a way to win. And my point here is you're getting them plus 380. Well, if they win tonight, you're going to see that 240, 380 flip-flop between the two. So you're going to be able to, if you want to, go back in and buy back in on the Rangers either in Game 5 or see what happens there in Game 6.
I love it. I love it that the futures market. And that's one thing I will say that I've learned so much from you. And for people that did not get in January, or you didn't get in October, it's okay. Because yesterday's behind us. You can't dwell on not getting a better number. It's the same thing for people that wanted to lock in Dallas 5-1 before their Minnesota series. Sure, you didn't get the 20-1 a while back, but that's fine, right? Or 15-1, whatever it might have been. You might as well live in the moment. And what's so great about this is, I know that nobody wants to hear this side of the coin, but if let's say you really like the Panthers tonight, well, you take the series bet tonight, they lose, but they also, if they do lose, it could go to 7 games and you still have a ticket. But if you bet, one of your favorite bets of the week is on this one tonight, you're relying solely on whatever happens tonight in this matchup. So I like that quite a bit, and I'm curious what you think about the first period overall, because these first periods have had so many goals. Even if the game isn't going over at all, we're seeing first period goals. As a numbers guy, what you're seeing from the price on the money line, what do you think about the fact that I saw minus 130 on the team total for the Oilers or the Rangers in the first period?
Give me the numbers, the money line, give me the under over price, give me the puck line price, and then give me the team total price.
All right. So we'll start with, of course, 5.5 full game, minus 166 plus 140 from DraftKings is the full game. Going into the period, plus 110 for the Rangers, minus 145 for the Panthers. But if we look at the period and we look at the team totals for the period, this is where it gets interesting, because it's minus 175 for the Panthers to get to 1, minus 130 for the Rangers to get to 1. So you look at the odds. Obviously, if they don't get to 1, there's no push or anything. You lose the bet. And for what it's worth, the bet that I've had not much success betting when I've talked with you about it, but we've gone about 30%, I'd say. Both teams. Guess what the odds are on that one for the no? The no is minus 220 or new 255. on the no, plus money 185 on the yes for both teams to score. And so this is an example to me. And then where I'm going with this is back to the conversation we had before. The more I've looked at this today and the more I've kind of talked to you here on the show, yesterday I saw people I respect betting the over a half goal first period for the Oilers. That was minus 155. Now you're seeing minus 175. This Panthers team is going to score in the first period, Jeff. But I'm not sure I would want to lay the minus 1.5 plus 160 on them to win the first period. But the cost difference is minus 1.5 is plus 160 for them to win it. But it's just minus 175 for them to score one goal. You already cashed your bet. Who cares what the Rangers do? I just thought this morning on Puck Time when I was doing my show and I was looking at it live, I said to the viewers, if you guys like the Rangers tonight, minus 130 to get one single goal in the first period is pretty interesting.
What is the first period 1.5 price for the over?
Pretty much a pick.
It's a pick.
A little bit towards the under at some book.
So strictly a numbers guy here. Strictly a numbers guy. They're telling you the Panthers are going to score one. They're saying it's even money for 2 goals to be scored. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and you're saying the Panthers are plus 160 towards the if they win the first period by a half, correct? Like the Oilers 2-0 first period, I think what they're telling me here is 2-0 Panthers first period.
I agree. It seems like we're being baited in with that minus 130 on the Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't like to say, oh, this is a trap or anything, but it's like you said, right? They want money. They want people to like the Rangers so bad. We're seeing the first period minus 130. And I've learned the hard way multiple times with sports betting is that if something seems too easy, there's always something to ask questions about. Why are they only minus 130 to score a goal in the first period is what's going through my brain when I look at that. Because as you always say to me, we don't like these bad numbers. We don't like bad prices like that, but it helps you learn what the market thinks. If they think the Panthers are minus 175 to score a goal in the first period, it kind of tells you what they think they might win the first period as well.
Yeah, and again, do we want to lay the 166? No. Do I want to lay the 175 in the first period? Hell no. Okay, but my point of the matter is they're almost giving you an out here because the over 1.5 is at a pick 'em, plus 100, minus 110, whatever you're getting for a number. Panthers score early 1-0, and then it's grab ass the rest of the period. Now you're sitting there like, I knew the Panthers were going to score. Where the hell were the Rangers with 3 shots on net, and the Panthers go 0 for 2 on the power play? So you're kind of one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't. I'm going to go 2-0 Panthers at the end of one. If you can get an exact score on that one, and when you hit, send me a GoFundMe. There you go. Panthers 2-0 after 1, 10-1. And I'll give you my PayPal and my Venmo tomorrow. How's that?
I like it. And it's interesting too, because you can look at alternative stuff here and you're getting some real good plus money, Jeff, if you wanted to sign yourself up for the over 1.5 goals there. But I like that quite a bit. So there's the minus 145 for them to win it, the plus 160 for them to plus 160 for them to win it, minus 145 on the two-way line, and minus 175 for you to get one goal in 20 minutes to cash your ticket.
Always a pleasure, my brother. I know we got a busy schedule ahead of you. As we always end this show today, the scroll has been going the whole time. Everyone knows by now they can go follow you on Twitter, X, at McInnis Picks. Find all your work on WagerTalk. But we wrap up here. I always give you that nice little 7-yard button hook and tell everyone what you have at WagerTalk, whether it's the rest of this week, the rest of May. Saturday, June 1st. I heard there might be a little UFC this Saturday, so the stage is yours, my friend.
That's a big UFC card. I can't wait. I'm going to have more for the preliminary rounds, actually, I think, in that card than I will on the main card, but it's going to be fun to watch. I'm just going to keep mentioning the CFL. I can't wait for it. Of course, we're doing baseball. We're chugging along. Your Elks, they're getting ready to go. But I got a promo code, actually, that I just recently got during the show here. I made sure it was kind of having some problems earlier. AMCFL. AMCFL will take $50 off the early bird special. So $250 for the entire 21-week season, plus playoffs, props, sides, totals. And this is one of those sports for anybody listening. Jeff crushed it as well with his futures, made some money, back-to-back CFL Grey Cup winners. But this is one of those sports where the lines move. The lines move big time. You don't want to wait until game time to be jumping on these plays. It's a really volatile market, and you want to get the plays the second they go right to your email. The second I release them to my clients, I'll give you some notes on why I like the play, and you can take $50 off the package at wt.buzz/AM using that promo code AMCFL. So, Jeff, thanks so much for your time, and I can't wait. I hope we get more games. All I want is more games. Look at what happened with the NBA. The NHL doesn't want to be like that. We don't want to have these quick series. Let's get some long series and show how competitive the league is.
Shout out to Noah. Absolutely crushed it. Thank you so much. Your work is second to none here. Get that promo code up as well. Andrew, we'll be jumping on your station. Otherwise, in about Magnuson will be back for the closing bell. Thank you.